Well, you can't make a story about beer without tasting some, and that's just what I propose to do now. I'm not a connoisseur, but we have 6 beers here. I can't see them. Some of them German, Scandinavian, Australian, and one of them home brew. I'm just going to see if I can pick it. It's not a bad job, this, really. Yes, very nice. That tastes as if it probably come from the south side of the fjord, that one. What's the next one? Ah, yes, I think the connoisseur would tell you that this is the one where the bushfire went through and just slightly toasted the hops. Very pleasant. Let me just see now. Ah, yes, touch of the bathtub there. I don't think we need to go any further. I think we've found our home brew. I'll just verify that. Yes, that's the one. That's the home brew. It tastes a little yeasty, not quite the same as the commercial beers that we sampled, but nevertheless quite an acceptable drop. Home brew making is said to be one of the oldest cottage industries in the world, and of course there's one overriding reason. You can produce your own poison for something like 8 cents a bottle, which is quite a bit cheaper than 45 cents a bottle. There was always, of course, something of a risk factor under the law. It may be that now that the law has changed or will be changed, there might just be an upsurge in this so that you can get sozzled and still stay within the law. Home brewing supplies already constitute a minor industry, no doubt part of the trend to home craftsmanship in place of mass production. Indeed, before the age of industrialism, most English households did brew their own. It was just one of a housewife's many duties. The ever-increasing cost of a bottle of beer, combined with the never-decreasing thirst of Australians, has obviously revived the interest. The decision to change the law recognises this revival, and Australians, sensibly enough, will soon be able to make their own beer as strong as they like, so long as they don't set up shop. Which is good news for this state's only full-time supplier of ingredients, John Hopper. John, you run this shop which caters exclusively for the demands of the home brewer, everything for the delight of the man who wants to brew his own drop. I suppose you'd welcome the government's news.
We're delighted with it, yes.
How many people do you think there are actively brewing away in Western Australia?
Well, we sell about a ton of malt extract a week, which would account for something like 4,000 gallons of beer, and we'd only hold a small percentage of the market.
What do you think is the secret delight that the home brewer gets?
Well, apart from the cost angle, the fact that they can make a good drop of beer for 6 or 7 cents a bottle, there's just the enjoyment and proving to yourself that you can make something.
Yeah. When you say the enjoyment of a good drop, we have tasted the home brew, and you can certainly pick it from commercial beers. It wouldn't be to everybody's taste, I dare say.
Well, this depends on how much trouble you want to go to make beer. You can follow the same techniques as the breweries and make a very similar type beer, which you wouldn't pick as a home brew.
There are, of course, dreadful stories about bottles exploding and things like that. Have you heard any...
Oh, yes, you hear lots of terrible stories of that. These are largely in the past now, with such things as hydrometers and closed fermentation. They're not likely to happen.
You don't have too many people blowing the louvers off the washhouse anymore?
No, that's no longer a hazard.
How do you get on with the commercial brewers? Because, in a sense, this is not very good news for them, is it?
Well, they treat us with ignore. The breweries control a certain of the supplies which are very difficult to get, such as grain malts. They can't be bought in this state.
Oh, I see. So that they are aware of that little element of competition.
Oh, yes, they make sure that we don't, obtain stuff if they can prevent us getting it.
It's fairly small beer to them, I suppose.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. What's the newest and latest development in home brewing? I mean, can we expect to see it on draft or...?
This is the big thing in England now, a small 1-gallon kegs pressurised with sparkler bulbs so that you can draw off draft beer without any sediment.
Well, John, it's said to be simple, but do you think even a complete beginner like myself could make an acceptable drink?
Absolutely, it's nothing to it. If you can make a piece of toast, you can make beer. You just follow the instructions.
Put the hops and the malt in a muslin bag, boil it in a gallon of water for half an hour, take it out, cool it down, sprinkle the yeast on the surface, put it in a barrel, allow it to ferment, add some more water and put it in bottles and wait for 14 days.
Is the beer